Hello everyone. It's been a while since I talked about writing, and today I just want to talk about something that I feel like is really important, and that is just why your story and what you create matters and why you should keep creating it. I follow a lot of writers on Twitter, and I see so many people, whether it goes from newbies to published authors, everyone worries about whether their story matters, whether they are writing something that people will want to read, and if it will mean something to someone, and everyone just worries a lot about everything, and I completely understand that. And I feel like all of us have had the feeling at some point, and a lot of us feel that way all the time because there are so many stories out there. There are so many books out there, so many movies, TV shows, videos, paintings, and everything. There's so much of it out there. And so we might wonder, why is ours special? Why is ours important? Like everyone else is just like doing so much, and it may be much better than what we can create, but every single story matters. Every single book, every single piece of art that we create will find different people. And if we create something from our heart, something that means something to us, it will find people that it will mean something to as well. I have been so stuck with everything that I create, videos and books, for like over a year because I've been so afraid that no one cares, because I have been feeling like my content isn't good enough and everything that I put out there, no one cares and no one listens. But the thing is, there are people out there who listen, even if they might not say it. You know, a lot of people are super scared of giving others compliments and complimenting others' work. And so I assure you, you have so many fans who don't ever comment or say anything because they feel like they might bother you or they're really shy. There's a lot of shy, introverted people on the internet, and so there are so many people that you might not really see, but they're there. And I know that it's often weird to accept positive feedback because we hear someone say that, you know, like our story is amazing and like what we do is so wonderful, and like it feels amazing, of course, but it's really hard to believe it if we don't believe it ourselves. Because that's the case with pretty much everything in life. If someone compliments us on something, if someone tells us that we are kind or beautiful, really good at something, or anything it might be, if we really, really don't believe it, no one can really force us to believe it. Hearing a compliment, though, might make us think about it, and then we might actually work on changing our mind and actually realizing, like, oh, I am actually good at this. And so when it comes to the art that we create, we need to start with ourselves. Yes, I am trying to convince you that people will love your work. People will see something in it that will speak to them. It will matter to someone because it matters to you. But another important thing that I need to talk about is you need to focus on you and how you feel about the content, about the things that you are creating, about the stories that you are trying to tell. Is it something that means a lot to you? Is it something that you constantly think about and you desperately want to put it out there in the world because it means so much to you? Is it something that you enjoy creating? Is it something that you love so much that giving it up would kill you? If that is the case, then it is a story that needs to be told. It is a story that so many people will need, and most importantly, it is a story that you need. You are desperately dying to tell the story, and that's why you need to tell it. You need to see that this story is so special because it comes from your heart and it's so important, and it doesn't matter if the execution of it isn't perfect. It is going to be really, really flawed, especially the first time, in the first draft, the first stage is not going to be perfect, and that's really a hard pill to swallow, because when we see our precious brain baby imperfect and flawed, we think maybe it's not good enough. What if we can't do the story justice? What if no one will like this? What if no one will care about it? But we can make it better. We can fix some of the little mistakes and we can work on it to make it absolutely excellent. But an important thing to know is that there will always be flaws in everything and everyone, and that doesn't make it any less beautiful. It just means that it's real, because anything perfect cannot be real. Perfection doesn't exist. And I get it, it's hard to see flaws in something and think that it's good enough, but it is, because we create something from our heart, something that we love, and we need to focus on how much we actually enjoy doing this. And of course there will be parts of the process that are really difficult and challenging that like we will absolutely hate doing, but we need to remember that this is one of our greatest passions, something that means so much to us, and it will be absolutely worth everything in the end. Art isn't meant to be perfect. It's meant to be powerful. It's meant to create a connection. It is meant to tell an important story. It's okay that it's flawed, because it will still touch someone's heart so deeply. It will mean something to someone. It will maybe even change someone's life. It will at least change their life for a while. And, people will fall in love with the characters that we love. And it doesn't matter that not everyone will love it, because not everyone can. Our story isn't for everyone. It is for the people to whom the story will matter as much as it matters to us. And that is who we need to tell all the stories for ourselves and the people who will connect with them. Your story matters. Your story is so important. And right now, when you're writing this alone in your room, in a library, or anywhere you might write, it is just between you and the characters and the story and everything. But if you feel like the story is important to you, it will be important to someone else. I so often see people tweeting that like they're worried about their story not being good enough, or if someone will actually listen, if someone will actually read it, if someone will care. And I just want to scream like, I will care, I will read it, I will love it, I want it to exist. And you want it to exist. The writer, you want it to exist. That is the most important. There are so many stories, just consider the books that you have read. Everything that you have read, all the books that you have loved, they meant so much to you. And, it might be a dream for you to make someone feel the same. And if you write a book that you're passionate about and you pour your heart and soul into it, someone will have that feeling with your book. And it's easy to get lost in all of the thinking of just like, someone will hate it. To someone, it won't mean anything. And, some people won't care. And that's unfortunately true. But there are so many people in the world. There will always be people who won't care about what we do, who won't like what we do. And again, that's something so hard to accept. But that doesn't make our books and our art any less meaningful, any less amazing. It's just what happens with everything. Someone's opinion of your book doesn't actually say anything about how good the book is. It's just their opinion, and they obviously have a right to their opinion, but it doesn't mean that the book is bad at all, ever. Tell your story. Write it for you, first and foremost. Write a story that you love, one that you're passionate about, and then if you do that, people will care about it. It will matter to them. It will mean so much to them, and people will connect to your story, and the world needs your story. Yes, there are so many stories out there, so much to read and watch and consume, but honestly, as a reader, I want more. I want it all. Like, I'm not just gonna pick one book to read. I read so much that, like, I've got time, honey, And so there will always be people who will find your story and who will love it so much. I always thought the art that I create, everything I do, it will be worth it if at least one person loves it, if it means something to at least one person, and it will means something to at least one person, and that person needs to be you first and foremost, and people will come after that too. And I understand that there are times when we just cannot believe this. It's too hard to believe it, and we think, well, of course there are so many people out there whose stories will matter, but mine doesn't. Mine isn't good enough, but it is. Your story and the things that you want to tell the world are good enough. And I really believe that there is space for every story out there. And so please follow your heart and write the book and tell the story, and I promise you it will be worth it.